How's it going, everybody? It's the John Little Fox News, my channel where I talk about anime, video games, cartoons, and most notably Sonic. And today I'm here to talk about the Sonic 3 trailer. So, I'm pretty sure you guys wanted me to talk about this anyways, and it's kind of the big thing right now and what's in. And of course, I have my thoughts and my opinions, and I'm going to share with that. I am right outside. Usually I like to record either in my house or when I'm, trying to do things on the go. I try to do it in my car, but, it's a little hot and stuff, and I feel like I'm best standing up and stuff. So I'm outside right now, just chilling before I go into the comic book store. So I'm gonna record two quick videos and stuff, just giving you my thoughts on some things. So first is on Sonic, and then the next video is going to be a My Hero Academia video. Yeah, that's a rarity, me talking about My Hero Academia. But anyways, I'm gonna talk about those things, and then right before I go in, issue 72 of Sonic the Hedgehog is out, and on top of that, the second issue of Final Fight and the what else am I looking for? It was a third. Oh yeah, the Saturday morning cartoon of TMNT, that's out too. So I'm here for those three. But anyways, but let me talk about this real quick. So what do I think of the trailer? I thought it was actually pretty good. Now, I actually kind of saw it a little bit of it on Twitter and stuff. Like somebody had, yeah, but I didn't listen to any of the audio or whatever. And I was like, at first I was like, I'm not too impressed. But when the full trailer came out, I was like, all right, this is a lot more better and a lot more hype. And I'm listening to the audio and everything. I'm like, yes. But there are some things I got to say before I even go into it. But anyways, but first off, let me just talk about the wait. Now, I've been waiting on this for a hot minute, of course, since April, really. If you want to be more technical, because we had that Knuckles show, and that didn't exactly turn out too great. But honestly, like I was like, thinking we would get the trailer at least sometime soon, because they're like, oh, a lot of people thought, oh, maybe it might come out in June, since June 21st, that's like Sonic's birthday. So that's what we all kind of thought, or 23rd, I don't remember which. It was probably the 21st, 23rd. You can kind of Google it, but anyways. Yeah, that's what a lot of people were thinking. I was like, oh, okay, so it's not coming out here. And then they kept pushing it back, and I'm like, when do they keep putting out this trailer? And then people keep being like, oh man, the trailer's gonna come out next week. And I'm like, man, stop getting my hopes up. So they finally put it out and stuff, and I was like, all right, this looks like they're actually sure this time that they're gonna actually put out this video. So I was like, okay, finally, or the trailer, and I'm like, finally. So yeah, I can definitely share you my thoughts. So anyways, Team Sonic, hang on. Sorry about that, a dumpster was passing by. I'm in a parking lot, by the way, but yeah. So yeah, it's nice to definitely see Team Sonic and stuff, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are all my favorite characters right there and whatnot, at least the top four. I would say like, one, first Sonic, obviously, two is Tails, and then three, I say it's Amy, and then number 4 is Knuckles. But yeah, because Knuckles is just my guy. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, the Team Sonic's definitely nice seeing them and stuff. They're a lot more closer and all that stuff. And this movie looks like it's gonna like really focus on them. Of course, Shadow too as the antagonist, but like the three of them are gonna be like the central characters pretty much. A lot of people are definitely happy that they're focusing less on the human characters, which is really a good thing. Now, I know I've said and defended in a way that I don't mind human characters inside Sonic, because we've already had that before, like, because, some of this stuff isn't really new, or it's not like, like we've had this argument or this claims and stuff before where people are like, oh, well, we don't want the human characters inside Sonic and all that stuff. And they take out the human characters. And then people are like, where's the human characters? Because that was kind of like the Colors era, where they took out the human characters and they were trying to act like, oh, well, we're in a completely different world. Where it's just all Mobians. It was kind of weird, And then they finally, so sometimes you just can't please everyone. But I don't think the human characters are bad. Now, in the Sonic movie, that's different. Like, if it's just like, oh, movie original characters and stuff like Rachel and Wade, I was like, oh, God. Because they really bring down the movie, in my opinion, whenever they're on screen. It's like, yeah, we get it. It's supposed to be a fun little joke. Haha. It's good for about... Well, it's not really good at all. Like, we're kind of done. Okay, and then the entire Knuckles show, if anything, that proves that, oh, God, they didn't really learn anything from why this series is actually very successful, but okay. Because they made it all about Wade and all that stuff, and that was very annoying, because, we're here to see Knuckles, but okay. But whatever. But it's a good thing that they're definitely focusing less on humans. But that could be a trailer thing. This could actually turn out differently inside the actual, yeah, this can definitely turn out differently in the actual movie for starters. Hang on. So that is a possibility, a strong possibility. But I have hope. It looks like it's definitely going to be focusing, like I said, more so on Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and they're going to be teaming up with Dr. Eggman. So expected there to be some betrayal. But yeah. And then next up is Maria and Gerald Robotnik. So it's definitely nice to see them. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't sure if they were actually going to include Maria and Professor Gerald inside Shadow's story. And don't get me wrong, I know that's essential because there are two essential characters to Shadow's like origin, his arc and everything. But for a while, if I'm going to be honest with you, it kind of feels like Sega, in my opinion, has been kind of ignoring them, or at least that history about with Shadow and stuff with Maria and Professor Gerald. I mean, they definitely acknowledged it in that thing that Mike Pollock had voiced, that animation that they did where they were recapping Shadow's backstory, which is pretty I said pretty gun. It was pretty good and definitely well narrated by the great Mike Pollock. But anyways, yes, I wasn't sure if they were actually going to ignore them or not, and I'm glad they didn't. And yeah, because it's just a dark story where Maria gets gunned down, and Professor Gerald loses his mind, and the good doctor becomes a bad, crazy doctor, and tries to destroy the planet and all that stuff. So yeah, so I wasn't like sure if they would actually adapt that or not. And it looks like yeah, they're going all in. And I'm like, that's good, that's very good. But anyways, and then Shadow, the man himself of the hour. Man, it's definitely looking like a good year for the Shadow fans. They're definitely eating and stuff. Is Shadow one of my favorite characters? Of course. Shadow's at least in my top 10. He's not my favorite like character per se, like my top 5, but he's in the top 10. Like if I had to say my top 10 favorite Sonic characters on the top of my head, I have to say Sonic, Tails, Amy, Knuckles, then number 5 and 6. I would say 5 will be Blaze, 6 would be probably Tangle, 7 Whisper, 8. That's probably where Shadow comes in. 9, maybe Vector or Rouge for number 10, or Silver, who knows. But yeah, but that's my top 10 at least. But yeah, but of course I love Shadow. So yeah, I mean Keanu Reeves is definitely doing a good job voicing him for what it seems like. I mean, we have to hear a little bit more, but he's a little witty. He's like, oh, aren't you a colorful bunch and stuff. He's definitely got that deep voice in him. Yeah. So I don't mind the casting and stuff. I know it's kind of like, oh, because Keanu's a popular actor and all that stuff. So that's what they're kind of going off of. But hey, at least I'm still down with it. I mean, because I respect Keanu Reeves as an actor and stuff. He's really cool and stuff. He's played in, movies like The Matrix and stuff, or he's played in, John Wick. So yeah. So yeah, it's definitely cool. And then his powers and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I was actually gonna try and make a community post or something to at least call this out before the trailer actually came out. But I swear I really thought that like the powers that they were actually showing Shadow inside like Sonic X Shadow Generations or Shadow, in the new Sonic Generations game, I thought they were actually gonna I thought they were gonna imply it to like the actual movie itself and whatnot, and just show off Shadow's new abilities, that he got this like Venom symbiotic powers and shit. That's what I really thought they were going to do, and be like, get a little ahead of the curve, because it's funny, because in Sonic Frontiers they started to input the lightning and all that stuff, the powers that Sonic has in there, into games now, because he first showed that in the movies and all that. So yeah, so that's what I thought they were going to do with Shadow. So, but yeah, but he's also got the same kind of gimmick and stuff, a little lightning and whatnot. And of course, Shadow has his chaos powers, like teleportation, like chaos control. So yeah. Then what else? But yeah, it's definitely looking like a good year for Shadow. Like I said, I mean, I saw that that little boss fight between Shadow and Metal Overlord and stuff, and I gotta say, Shadow taking on Metal Overlord by himself and defeating him, that's actually pretty impressive, because keep in mind, it took Super Sonic, Super Tails, and Super Knuckles, all 3 of them, just to beat Metal Overlord and whatnot. So that would mean that, damn, Shadow was like definitely a lot more stronger than even they were back then, or at least strong enough to definitely take on Metal Overlord by himself. Where pretty much most, like, the entire Sonic characters and stuff, they all needed that, a little bit of luck and everything. That was crazy. Because it's kind of like how Sonic had taken down Perfect Chaos, but Metal Overlord probably is a lot more stronger and stuff in Perfect Chaos though. But yeah, then what else? So the real villain and stuff. The real villain. So I don't know if they'll actually make Shadow like, well, they'll make Shadow the villain, but I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't like pull the same kind of formula as they did with the second movie, where in the second movie, they had like, obviously we knew Knuckles was gonna turn because Knuckles isn't like an evil or bad guy or anything. So yeah, it was pretty obvious because like just like in the games, Knuckles and Eggman work together. Eggman betrays Knuckles by trying to steal the Master Emerald. So yeah, that was pretty obvious that we knew Knuckles was going to turn to the good guys and all that stuff if you actually played the games and stuff. But if you're watching this and you know very little about Sonic and all that stuff and you just heard of the character, then yeah, that was probably a big surprise to you. But Shadow, though, I was expecting, are they going to have Shadow work with Dr. Eggman or something like in the games? Like he did inside Sonic Adventures 2. And then he just turns for the good guys or whatever. I don't know, because I had a feeling people would probably call that repetitive or whatever. I'm not saying that it is repetitive, but how these movies are going to be structured and stuff, yeah, it probably would be a little repetitive, in my opinion. So this time around, him and his friends are working with Dr. Eggman to take down Shadow. But we know full well that Dr. Eggman is going to probably betray the others and stuff to get what he wants. So, yeah, it's bound to happen. And maybe Sonic is definitely taking quite a chance with working with Dr. Eggman. Or who knows? Like, even if it's Dr. Eggman's not the main villain, it could probably be GUN who's working with Sonic because we know they're very shady on the down low and all that stuff. And they've been trying to capture Sonic and his friends. They had Shadow locked up and did all those terrible things to Maria and Professor Gerald. So, I mean, you never know. Or it could just be that Professor Gerald that we saw. Which, it's interesting because I'm not sure if they either aged down Professor Gerald and actually made him be like Dr. Eggman's dad this time around instead of his actual grandpa, which is interesting too because Dr. Eggman had mentioned in this series that he's actually an orphan and that he was in an orphanage or something like that growing up, if I'm not mistaken. He said that in one of his little rants back in Sonic 1. So, yeah. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, I do think that it could probably be like GUN, like they approach Sonic and it's like, oh, we need to neutralize, take down Shadow. Shadow, of course, is doing his own thing, trying to tear down the world or whatever. So, Team Sonic's definitely got their plate full on that. So, that's my thoughts. And then, of course, the one thing that is really aching me right now, of course, about the trailer that they lacked, is I want Rouge and Amy to be in the goddamn movie. I want Rouge and Amy to be in the movie, okay? It's cool we got Shadow, and don't get me wrong, I love Shadow, but we need Rouge and Amy, okay? And yeah, I know some people were like, well, I'm glad they're not doing like another readaptation of Sonic Adventures 2 or something. I mean, but that's kind of Shadow's story, though. So it's like, yeah, they're kind of a little bit important to that. I mean, I understand Amy maybe not so much, because in the Sonic Adventures 2, I think they threw in Amy at the last minute, and she wasn't like really a playable character. But she still gave Shadow that pep talk, though, and she was all right in the game. And then Rouge, she actually was there, a part of the story and everything. It was a playable character, and she's also very close with Shadow, so it also makes sense to kind of include her. But who knows? Maybe they might pull a last-minute thing and actually might introduce Amy and Rouge, or they could introduce them in another trailer. Who knows? But they could be definitely saving them for something. But that's the thing, though. What I'm saying is, I definitely want to see a lot more game characters and stuff on the big screen. Which that makes that really tickles my fancy as a Sonic fan, that I want to see more Sonic related characters in a Sonic movie, versus just introducing each one by one, which is why I like Sonic 2, because they really introduced like Tails and Knuckles and stuff. I know they introduced Tails in Sonic 1 in that post-credit scene, but I'm saying they really did go into some detail and introduce them both in that second movie, which is cool. But I want more characters, hell, in Knuckles, I'm like, damn, would it have been better if you had, like, Perfect Chaos, or if you even had the Chaotix, like, that would have been awesome. But that's just me. But yeah, hopefully, I hope this definitely turns out. I'm not really here for, like, the jokes and all that stuff show, or whatever. I know that Knuckles show, was pretty bad. Or the human-focused very stuff or whatever, plot lines. Like, I'm not here for that with whatchamacallit. With this movie and stuff, and it definitely looks promising. Or hell, they could have easily made the Knuckles show into a cartoon, which that would have been a lot more easier to kind of do, and that way you don't have to rely solely on just human characters appearing. because they needed human characters to appear to kind of like animate CGI characters in the background and all that stuff to have them doing something. So that's probably the most likely reason why they did that, and you could kind of tell with that show. So, but yeah, but anyways, but this isn't about Knuckles though, or about the show. Speaking of Knuckles, goddamn, I kind of knew that Knuckles was gonna get beat up by Shadow or something, and like Shadow was gonna like show up and do all that. I was like, oh man, I knew it. Once I knew Shadow was about to appear in Sonic 3, I knew this was gonna happen. That's all I was saying. Like, man, I know that they're gonna pull that because Knuckles, like, this might be against popular belief, but Knuckles and Shadow aren't that far apart in terms of power or that gap and stuff. I know a lot of people see like a lot of Vegeta and Piccolo in them, and yeah, usually Vegeta is more powerful than Piccolo, but Shadow and Knuckles though, I mean, they're actually pretty neck and neck and stuff. Like not Shadow, Knuckles is like physically the most strongest base Sonic character and stuff. Like physically, yes, and then Shadow, he's definitely got the most like potential when it comes to chaos energy and all that stuff. So yeah, and Knuckles is knowledgeable about that kind of thing, but neither here nor there. But anyways, it's just something I wanted to point out. But regardless, though, yeah, I'm definitely hyped to see this movie. Unfortunately, it's coming out in December 20th, and I definitely want to hear a lot more sooner. But hey, a lot of people are definitely loving it. It's got like 4 million views on some of the channels, and it's being put out on like Paramount, Sonic the Hedgehog channel, everything. So I'm definitely down, of course, as a fan. So tell me down below what you guys think. Are you looking forward to Sonic 3? All right, this is the Jonah Low Fox, and I'm out. Peace, and until the next video.